2, 1. Okay, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Vigilante, and we are here for another episode of Wifeable Podcast. For those who don't know what Wifeable Podcast is a platform that me and my guy DJ Money now created, where we invite all of the most beautiful women in Atlanta to sit down with us so we can talk about the current dating climate in Atlanta, in case one of you guys want to put them in a wifeable position. So, without further ado, we're about to get into this dope conversation with Miss Ashley. Go ahead and introduce yourself to people, Ashley.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Ashley Naisha Harris. I am an actress, a model, and I'm a writer. Yeah.
How long you been acting?
I have been acting for, it'll be a year on the 27th of this month.
Okay, so are you from here?
Yep.
So you was born and raised in Atlanta?
I was born in Lexington, Kentucky, but I've been here my whole entire life.
Okay, so elementary school, middle school, all that stuff you was here?
Yes.
Okay. You like living here?
Yeah, it's okay. It's all I know. I don't really have that much to compare it to.
So you never like stayed in another state for like the summer or anything like that?
I stayed in Kansas for like 2 years, but that
wasn't good in comparison to
not
here.
at all.
Okay, I see. All right, so raised with both parents?
No.
So
They were
mom,
like separated.
Oh,
Dad and dad.
dad and dad.
Yes.
Okay, how did that work out?
It was cool. It's a lot of male energy. Yeah.
Did you and your mom have a good relationship?
Truthfully, I've not seen my mother since I was 11 years old. And that's probably the only time I ever recall seeing her in my life.
When you was 11?
Yes.
She never reached out outside of that?
Not really. I don't think it was on purpose though, but it kind of just didn't happen.
If you could make a guess on what the situation was, what would you say from her end that you think happened?
Probably that like I hate her or something. I really don't know.
She thinks that you don't like her.
Yeah.
For what
Well,
reason?
I'm adopted.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, that
I see. Oh, that's why you said dad and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yes.
When you break that down, I would have never took you for somebody that was adopted.
I don't think you ever really know unless like you see it.
You know what? To be honest, that is true.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 15, my mom took my phone one day. I wasn't in trouble. She just used it for something.
Mm-hmm.
She came back and I seen a picture of this girl on my phone that looks exactly like all of my sisters. And then that's when we found out that we had another sister.
Wow.
So at first it was like a rumor. Everybody was just like, okay, you may have another sister. We don't know. It's up in the air. But then eventually we figured out that it was confirmed that we had another sister. So after I was born, my mom gave that baby up for adoption. And then she had another baby and kept that one. And so my sister was raised by a Canadian white family, which was a very interesting thing because she's black, but she's Canadian.
Right.
But she's not really Canadian. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dynamic because my sisters look exactly the same, but one is technically Canadian.
So are you guys close now?
We are now, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it took a minute to adjust to that because we was all raised together, and then when she came, she has a lot of Caucasian traits to her now.
Okay.
And she was raised a little bit more privileged than we were. She was adopted by a rich family. We grew up poor, and then once I became rich, I was able to understand like, okay, now I see why you talk like that and why you walk like that. So we got closer over the years. It was an interesting dynamic having
That is
having.
very interesting. That's cool. Like not like cool, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's I get what you're saying. It's almost like a sister thing. Where you find your. It's a very peculiar situation. It was different. It was the first time I ever had to deal with something like that. All right, so what age did you find out that you were adopted?
I found out that I was adopted at the age of 10. Yeah, 10.
So they sat you down and had to talk with you?
Well, it was only one of my parents at the time because they were separated, a lot of bad blood between them. So I only had one parent sit down and tell me, and it was a very emotional conversation. I guess because he had his own fears that I would reject him in some type of way, but I don't know. I never thought of anything like that. I always just thought, it happened for the better, and knowing why she gave me up. Yeah.
Did you get the explanation? His personal?
She was just mentally unfit.
Okay.
That's the best way I can put it. Yeah, she was just mentally unfit.
And this is the one that we're talking about that you hadn't seen since 11, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your
That's
biological.
the only mother that I've ever had.
So when your dad adopted you, he was a single dad.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Okay, and then I'm assuming when you say dad and dad, that means he was homosexual, right?
Yeah, he still is. But yeah,
okay.
so that when I was born, they had just randomly got a phone call that okay, so
Take it from the top. You got it.
Yeah, no, I have to take it from the top. Okay, break it all the way down. So, Dad A, we are biologically related. Technically, he would be like my biological uncle, maybe, I think, somewhere in that spectrum.
Okay.
And my mother was his aunt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since I was adopted by him, I basically became his daughter. And now she's my aunt. Adopted aunt.
Yeah, so it technically switched roles.
Yeah, technically it switched roles.
What movie is that? Is that Jumping the Broom? Is that what
Probably,
movie that is?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, you know what movie I'm talking about, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that same situation.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's not like it was a secret, but I think he had just a lot of fear. Like, they just randomly got a phone call from my mother basically saying that she gave birth. And they needed someone to come up there and get me. So I was only in Kentucky for like 2 weeks after I was born. Next thing I know, papers were signed, and then the rest is history.
Shipped off to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, so the stork came and got you.
Pretty much.
They dropped you out right in his doorstep.
Yes.
I like how mature you are about the situation.
Yeah.
Did it take a long time for you to get there, or is that how you felt like you definitely?
Not really. I feel like I've always felt like it that way. Because I think of what would have happened if that never would have occurred.
Right.
Like, Lord knows where I would have been.
Yeah, you definitely would have been stripping for sure.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
sure.
God knows. So I think things just happen when they're intended to. I've never had any bad blood.
What's your dad's name?
My dad's name is Clyde.
Clyde. Shout out to you, Clyde,
Yes.
for keeping Ashley off the pole. No matter how
Yes.
much she wanted to be on it.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you for keeping her off the pole, Clyde. Okay, so the upbringing was good.
The upbringing was pretty good. Me and my dad beefed a little bit here and there, but we made it through. It's hard raising a girl, I guess, by yourself.
Yeah, that's a very peculiar situation. What type of obstacles did y'all run into as far as that goes?
Oh
genders?
gosh, everything, everything, down to the emotional side of things, to periods, to like I had to read like self-help books.
How to figure that shit out for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there was a book that literally, I think it's like how the girl's body works or something like that, but it was a cartoon book that basically broke down like puberty, like getting boobs and what to use for your period and all that stuff. So there was a lot of things that he didn't know about. I kind of had to figure out on my own. Emotionally, I'm a crier.
You a crier?
And both of my dads, like, they're always just like, why are you crying? It's not that big of a deal.
Okay,
Because, guys are always, I don't know, they don't think about stuff like that too much.
Right.
And my other dad's philosophy, his name's Ron, he always says, if it's fixable, then there's no reason to worry about it too much. So, yeah, those are the main ones. But
how long they been together?
they were together. I don't even know how long they were together. They were together before I realized that they were even together. I think they've been broken up since I was like 5.
Oh, so this is from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so we in a time machine right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Did he still continue dating after that?
Not really. No. Clyde didn't have. Well, he was married at one point. But that's about it.
To another dude.
Yeah.
Where was that legal in what state?
Here.
Oh, that's legal here? I didn't even know gay marriage was legal here. I just learned something new.
Yeah, it's been legal for some years.
I had no idea. Okay, so with him growing up, with you growing up around him being homosexual, were you confused about, or did you have any reservations about which gender you were supposed to date?
No, not really. When I was like growing up, when my dads were still together, I always used to just tell everyone I was blessed with 2 dads, because that's just what I was told. And then when I knew the whole definition of homosexuality and being gay and stuff like that, I took a very deep offense when anyone ever said anything bad about gay people. So like I would be in elementary school just fighting the kids, arguing with them.
You getting your ass whooped?
Absolutely no, I was whooping ass. But yeah, I don't know. I never really thought too much about it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I feel like you love who you love, you can't control it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that it was probably around when I was in the 8th grade. My oldest sister, she came out as lesbian. And it was kind of shocking, but then again, not shocking, because she taught me how to dress. She taught me how to play basketball. But it was like a gradual merge. Like one year she was dating men. The The next year she was a little bit more masculine, and then the next year, you know how you got girls that can dress as a guy and as a girl, like kind of like a STEM before a STEM was a STEM. So she was kind of like that, like Love and Basketball. Old girl, she was kind of like that.
Okay.
And then if old girl from Love and Basketball came out as gay, nobody would have been surprised because she already was an athlete.
Right.
So it was kind of like that. So I gained like a deeper appreciation for that community because me and her, we were the closest out of all of my sisters. So did you grow up liking girls and guys, or did you just like guys?
Well, mostly I didn't. I had tendencies of liking girls, but I mostly avoided it. It kind of hinted around maybe like high school, and then my most recent relationship that I just got out of was with a girl.
Was with a woman?
Yes, it was with a woman. Yes.
What caused y'all to break up?
Oh gosh, it wasn't anything wrong. I feel like it was a very mature, stable relationship. Probably one of the best relationships I've ever been in my life. Thus far, but she just emotionally just wasn't available enough, and she was mature enough to acknowledge the fact instead of just letting it drag on. So I can respect that.
So you feel like that she wasn't in a position to give you all of her,
Yeah.
and you wanted all of her.
Yeah.
Okay, and so she was kind of like reserved, like
Yes.
I don't want to. How do I put it? Like the progressions of the relationship, she was afraid to go to the next steps in the
Yeah.
relationship.
It was like our futures didn't really match up. When I talked about a future, she didn't see that same future.
Okay, I
Does
see.
that make sense?
Was it that it wasn't that you weren't in the one that she saw, or that it was just like the way that she saw her, the direction that she was going in, and like career-wise and stuff like that?
Maybe a little bit of both.
So she would describe a situation where you weren't there in the future.
Not necessarily like verbatim, no, but like okay. So I would talk about things like marriage and things of that nature, but she doesn't believe in marriage, at least as of right now, because things like that do change. But yeah.
What about LTR? Like if it just being a long-term relationship?
See, I don't know. I really don't know.
Was she not open to that either? Y'all was technically in a long-term relationship.
Technically. So I guess as far as going to that next step, she probably just didn't see that.
All right, so yeah, she about to call you after this episode is over and see if you're interested in a long-term relationship.
Probably not, but I think it's a door that's closed. It's
All the way closed?
I think so. I mean, I would definitely be open to friendship for sure. It's not the love for it.
No, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first girl you ever dated?
Seriously, yes.
So did you have like a phase where you like experimented first and then or did you go right into like dating women?
I don't really think I had too much of an experimental phase. I think for me, I kind of just like what I like. The whole labels thing is just it's too much pressure.
Okay.
I think for me, but it wasn't like, okay, I'm tired of men, I'm gonna go find a girl.
Right.
I hate that concept. That was not what happened at all. I was just randomly on Tinder, and I saw her, and I was like, wow, she looks very.
She's bad as hell.
Pretty. Like she's very pretty.
She's bad.
And her Instagram was linked to the Tinder, so I went and DM'd her.
Okay.
And I said, hey, let me take you out, and that's his history.
So you took her out?
Well, she paid, but
okay.
I definitely initiated.
Where did y'all go?
We went to this one place in Atlanta, I believe, somewhere in Atlanta, but it was like a bunch of restaurants and just like one whole building. And we had like some pasta, I believe, and then we just sat in my car and we talked.
That's my favorite food right there.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, y'all had a heart to heart.
Yes. Definitely.
I tell people all the time that when you go on a date with somebody, the best time is usually like toward the end of the date, when either y'all are about to leave or one person drops the other person off when y'all sitting in the car.
Exactly.
That's usually the best part of the date right there. I noticed that continually. So you agree on that?
I do agree on that because I personally, I'm more of a listener than I am a talker, but I feel like if you can bring out the talkative me, then I mean, shoot, that's fine. There's nothing worse than someone who can't carry a conversation.
Yeah. I see. So you one of those initially introverted people until you have a vibe that you catch with somebody else that brings out your talk.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can understand that. That makes sense. All right, so did she know like when you were talking to her that you were initiating for it to go romantically?
Yeah, okay. So at first she didn't know whether or not she was gonna take me too seriously because before we even went out, we were on the phone a few times. And the first time we FaceTimed, I was a little bit more on the dead side, but
What you
Sorry,
mean
Dad. Hold on. Sorry,
Okay,
Dad, for
okay.
this confession.
Yeah, talk about
I
it.
took an edible the night before,
Uh-huh.
and I was still a little bit hungover from that.
Mhm.
So when I got on the phone with her, I was incredibly. Oh yes.
Speaking of which, this definitely would have helped her in that situation.
Definitely.
Shout out to the hangover monster.
But I was, oh my gosh, I don't know. I was just acting so dead and awkward. But she said that like that date definitely solidified everything for her. That
When y'all actually went out,
yes,
or when you was
no,
tripping on that, when you
actually
tripping on
went
that
out.
mushroom?
She was like, I don't know if I want to continue with this. Maybe we could be friends.
Oh, she tried to friend zone you after you took that acid.
She didn't. No, it was a. It was just a little gummy.
That's
Just a
all it
little
was?
gummy. Yes, a little gummy.
So you must not be a big smoker then.
No, I honestly, throughout college, I went to, well, I did undergrad, got my bachelor's last year. But I smoked a lot back then because I was stressed and I was in the country and I didn't like it. But
I'm a city girl.
not really even a city girl. I'm more of a suburban girl.
Suburban, okay.
Yes.
You like the middle
like the
ground.
yes, the
Okay,
middle.
I see.
Because the city's too loud, the country's a little bit too boring
Mhm.
for me.
Mhm.
So suburban's like nice. Yeah, but what was the question?
Did she? Okay, so when you all right, so this is after you took the shrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
No, gummy. Gummy.
After you took the gummy,
Mhm.
you was dead on the FaceTime,
Yeah.
and
Oh, smoking. So, since I moved back home, no, not really, not really. I kind of took a break from smoking and drinking and stuff. I'm more of like a recreational type.
okay, so like when it's offered in public,
Exactly.
party setting and stuff like that.
That's about it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
All right, so after the first date, how long until y'all went on the second date?
It was pretty soon. I think probably within like the next week or so. I really don't know. It was pretty quick though. It was pretty quick.
So it was gradual. Y'all was feeling each other.
Yeah,
could tell
no,
that
we definitely
You could tell
were.
she was liking you too. Okay, so how long was y'all dating until y'all got intimate with each other?
Like into a relationship?
No, intimate.
Intimate.
Mhm.
Goodness. It was a few weeks, maybe a month tops.
About a month.
Maybe a little bit less.
Okay, so it's anywhere between 25 and 30 days, around that time.
Around that time, yeah.
Okay. All right, so were you the first girl that she had dated on that level?
No, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Okay, so she had already been in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you created your Tinder initially, because it has a guy side and it has a girl side, you created it for the guys, or you created it, or do yours have like the mixture of both, where you swipe and you see both? Okay, so whatever you just feeling that day, that's what you're going.
Absolutely, I guess. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The reason that is interesting is because I was in a 4-year relationship, and so if I bring her up, her name is T. And then we were in a poly relationship for the last 6 months. Her name was Chanel. So in the beginning of me and T's relationship, this is back when I was like, you probably can't even imagine me being like this, but this when I had like 20,000 followers. I was like a background extra. I definitely didn't have any money back then. It was different. So at that time, me and her were in the process of being in a relationship. And I remember one day she was on Tinder and we were sitting next to each other just like this. So if I had my phone right here like this, you would be able to see it, even if you wasn't looking through it. This how she had her phone and Tinder was open. So I was looking at it kind of weird because I'm like, okay, we about to be in a relationship and you got Tinder open. And so when I looked down and saw, she was on the girl side. And it was like, when she was swiping, it was all girls. It wasn't even like no mixture. So then when I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, so are you trying to tell me something? What is you trying to, so she was kind of like hesitant, like she kind of pulled the phone away. And I was like, no, I want you to talk to me. What's going on? What are you feeling right now? She was like, you know, I grew up in a church household. Really wasn't allowed to express myself like that. I've always had these urges to be with women and, you know, kind of explore and see what that's about. So I was like, okay. I was kind of blown back for a second. And then I was like, all right, I think this is the best thing for us to do. You don't know how to deal with women on the romantic side. So you don't know what it's like from outside of friendship. So I think the best thing for us to do is, I have women that I've dealt with before I knew you, and some of them are still around. So I think that those are the best women for you to fraternize with, because one thing that y'all have in common is that y'all both like me. So, and I have a trust for them you got the girlfriend position. They didn't, but it's not because they did something wrong. It's just because you were more fit for it than they were. So she agreed, and then we started going on like 3-way dates where like 2 girls would come, 3 girls would come. And those dates was like the most fun out of all of them, because at that point, all of the pressure of me as a man, like shopping with a woman, that shit ain't fun to me. I don't like doing that. So then when I bring another girl, that alleviates all of that. So then they can shop. I can go to the food court, eat, or I can go take care of this business, take care of that business, and an hour later, we all just at the crib. So that's how, for those who don't know the story of how it started with me and T when we started bringing other girls into our relationship, that's how it started. Later that year, she went to my Instagram. This is when it started to get like really big. And she saw like 20 girls that was liking all of my photos, and she invited them to a penthouse downtown in Buckhead, for those familiar with the Atlanta area. And they all had on happy birthday Vigilante shirts on with nothing underneath them and just lingerie. So I came and I was really surprised because I didn't know that that's what she was going to do. So it was like a lifestyle that I was creating that she was okay with walking into, and us being like at the top of it, but still having it around. You could kind of like Hugh Hefner if he had like a wife and they were both doing that together rather than it just being him. So that was an interesting Tinder story. I don't know if I ever told that story on a Wife Food podcast.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting how that happened, because most dudes, when they have Tinder, it's only women. So when you deal with bisexual women, like, you identify as bisexual or just, okay, so yeah, when you deal with bisexual women, you don't ever get to see it be like men, women, men. Is it random like that? When it's on
Yeah, it's pretty random.
It's random like that. Okay, so since they've been doing statistics on dating apps, they've been saying that girls mostly scroll left than they do right. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah.
What percentage would you say that you scroll left and right?
Well, okay, let me just make this clear. I'm not like an avid Tinder user. I just go in there when I'm bored. But I'd say about 70-30.
70 no, 30 yes?
Yes.
What
Maybe
on
80-20.
what on the app catches your eye? What would make you scroll right on somebody? Take notes on this, y'all.
Okay. Typically, I do like people who are educated. So if you're in school or just getting out of school, like that's fine. Definitely age is a thing too.
Break down the age.
Okay, so I think probably like the highest I maybe go is probably like that 27, 29 mark, maybe. And the youngest I probably go is maybe 21.
Okay.
I don't really like.
So just in 20s.
Yeah, just in your
21 to
20s.
29.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so age is definitely a thing. If you have good pictures up. But even then, some guys, some girls too, they aren't that photogenic. So if I can see some type of, okay.
Even though it's a bad picture, you still may look good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not everybody is a model.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I understand that.
But even then, even if I do make a match with somebody, like 9 times out of 10, I probably won't even message you.
Why not?
I don't know.
You don't even know why?
No.
What was the purpose of matching with them?
I don't know. I just be bored.
Why do you be so bored? Let's go there.
I don't know. I think, okay, when I was in college, dating was easy. Like, all you had to do is go to a party, probably maybe hook up with somebody, and then, like, boom, you're stuck together for, like, next maybe 1-2 months in this situationship, and then you move on to the next. Okay. But in the real world, it's like, unless you go out, you're probably not going to meet anybody.
You're super introverted.
I'm very introverted. Because I'm not like a party or anything like that. The most I do is just work, and then that's about it. And I might go out from time to time.
No, I see.
That's about it.
You're not like a clubber.
Nah, not really. Only because it's so expensive to party out here.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you're spending $100 before you even get through the door.
But you're a beautiful girl. It should be less expensive than that.
That's true, but even then, people don't like to dance anymore.
Okay.
That's the main thing. People don't like to dance.
You a dancer?
I am.
So when you go out, you like to dance?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it gonna be good? Probably not.
It's gonna be a TikTok dance.
No,
it's not gonna be one of them.
Nah, you'll get like a little shimmy, a little shimmy shake.
Okay, so let's give us a little Harlem shake, a little Bow Wow Harlem shake.
Sure.
So okay, that makes sense. I get what you're saying. You more so like, you like proximity. You like it for like when you are out somewhere, the natural progressions of you talking to somebody has to do with you being in the vicinity of them, and you prefer in-person interaction than you do online interaction.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm picking all of that up. I get it. I'm downloading the information. I hope that they are too. So for y'all who want to put Ashley in a wifeable position, download all of this information. Create your Tinder account. Tell her that you graduated from Yale, even if you didn't.
That was nice.
And then she said between 21 and 29, so 25 on the app, be 25. How tall he gotta be?
We're like 5'9".
5'9"?
Yeah.
Anywhere between 5'9" and 5'10". So you don't have to necessarily be an NBA player, maybe MLB. Okay, so
But at least be tall enough to where I can comfortably wear heels around here.
tall enough to where she can comfortably wear heels and keep them on later.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break right quick. We're gonna be right back to the Wifeable Podcast.